a notice of non-renewal. I'll hit the 7-day notice, 30-day notice, and a 20-day notice. The first one will be a notice of non-renewal for a week-to-week tenancy, so a tenant who makes weekly payments to the landlord in order to stay in the rental unit. And this is covered under Section 2740-770A of the Residential Landlord and Tenant Act. And the statute requires for this notice to be considered proper. It needs to be in writing. It needs to specify a termination date and give the tenant at least 7 days before that termination date to vacate their rental unit. So let's move on to some applications. Application 1, a landlord gives a tenant a written notice that states they will need to vacate the rental unit by a deadline that is 15 days after the date on the notice. Please note the tenant is living in private housing on a week-to-week tenancy. Is this proper notice? And the answer is yes. The statute requires that the landlord give the tenant at least 7 days. And so giving the tenant more than that does not make the notice improper. So in this case, that is why this would be considered proper notice, 7 versus 15. And then application 2, a landlord meets with the tenant in the landlord's office on December 12, 2022, and tells them they need to vacate on December 19, 2022, which is exactly 7 days after the date of their meeting. Note, the tenant is living in private housing on a week-to-week tenancy. Is this proper notice? No, because as I stated in a previous application, the statute requires that the notice be given in writing.